Hey guys! So today we're gonna do Bantu knots.
Oh, great heavens!
And we're gonna do a detailed video. So first things first, you gotta start off with freshly shampooed hair. And then we're gonna start the style into plaits. So you're going to need a wide tooth comb, a detangler brush, a rat tail comb, also an edge brush. For products, I'm using Edge Control Charcoal and Honey Extreme Hold, and I'm also using Mango and Shea Butter Ultra Moisturizing Leave-In Conditioner. So you want to start by sectioning off the hair. You want to make sure that the parts are clean, or else the end results will look sloppy. Also, ignore the pimple patches on my face. I've been having a stressful week, so I'm just trying to get ready for the next week. To ensure that the parts were clean, I two-strand the hair that I was not touching yet to make sure it stayed out of the way. So throughout this video, I will be using the lock method, and that's liquid, oil, and cream. You can use whatever products to your liking. It's just to ensure that your hair stays hydrated. You really should focus on your ends more due to it being the furthest away from your head. I'm putting edge control mostly on my roots for it to stay sleek. I use the rat comb to make sure it gets through the hair shaft. So I wandered off to go find a hair tie only because two-strand twisting it was taking a little too long. I used more product in the middle of my head because it's more coarse than the top and the back part. So right here I'm showing you that you want a little space between the root and the actual plaid, only because you're going to crochet hair in between those two. That scalp was dry, honey. Another method you can also do is spray your hands to make sure all of the product is getting on the hair evenly. Once I'm done plaiting my hair, I'm gonna sit under the dryer for 30 minutes to an hour so I don't get braid rot. I'm back in all my shrinkage glory so we can get started on the crochet. I also forgot to mention that you'll need a crochet hook, and you can also get just any type of braiding hair of your choice, and you can get that from the local beauty store. I want these knots thick on my head, so I'm going to put a hefty amount of hair within the crochet hook. How I make sure the braiding hair doesn't get tangled while I'm trying to crochet, I take the strand of hair that I'm using and then I twist it slowly to make a nice coil. So this was the first method I was doing by taking the braiding hair and sectioning it off and braiding it down, but the hair was too thick for it, so I had to restart completely the next day. I personally like the thickness within the Bantu knots, however, it was sliding off a lot due to it being just synthetic hair, so I would recommend having it this size if it was more of a sleeker hair texture. It was the next day and I was a little frustrated due to me having to start all the way over, but this time I was actually happy with the results. So instead of me just leaving all the hair out, I decided to braid it down to give it a more uniform look. And you can see right now, I'm just showing you how I put the beads onto the crochet. You can see that the loose braids don't go all the way to the top, and that's to start the Bantu knot. The braid without the bead is the one I'm going to cover up with the ones I just made. There's no need to braid all the way down because you need the extra hair to lock in for the Bantu knot. So now I'm showing you that those 3 braids are actually going to cover up the braid that has my real hair inside of it. I zoomed in closer so that we can get a good idea on how the Bantu knot is actually working. You're going to keep the root of the hair steady so that way you can wrap the hair shaft around it. As you get to the end of the hair, you're going to make sure you're tucking the hair under the root. there you've had it. You've just officially made your Bantu knots. You can play with it around to get the placement how you want, just to make sure it looks good to you. I'll most likely make it tighter or looser to my liking tomorrow, only because it's getting a little late tonight. But thank you guys for watching.